All
And
right. So,
it's the most soothing skill set to have. So anytime conflict arises, I'm like, oh, thank God I know how to affect label.
right.
It's
It
the
is,
best shield ever, but you
it
do it
is,
with compassion.
it is life transforming. Now, I got a lot of single people on here, a couple of couples, which is great. How do you introduce this into a relationship? Very carefully. And the reason that you have to be careful is because your relationship has a set of unspoken rules that you probably don't even know you have. There are all kinds of rules around your relationship, things that you don't talk about, levels of intimacy that you don't go beyond. So there are barriers to intimacy, um, rules around what you can express, what you can't express, what you can feel, what you can't feel. And since many people come out into relationship wounded as children, so they're going to have the same kind of rules that they grew up with. If you introduce affect labeling too abruptly, you're going to violate all those rules, and the person, your partner, is going to feel really, really unsafe. So you have got to do this very carefully. And number one, only do it after you're absolutely confident about your abilities, because you've practiced it in low risk social situations where if you
In
make
low risk situations
low risk social
for
situations where
3 months.
where if you make a mistake, you're not going to embarrass yourself. And you really have learned that this works. It's not just Alea and Doug telling you how wonderful this is, but you've experienced it for yourself. You got to get to that point first. And then you're going to introduce this by simply doing affect labeling as a one-off. You're really frustrated. Really frustrated.
And that's
Oh.
it. And
And
then
that's
you're
all you
done.
say.
You're
You
done.
stop. You're done and you stop
And do that once a day.
and see how that goes.
And positive emotions.
Yeah, and positive with children with positive emotions, especially, but with anybody, positive emotions. And you're just slowly going to introduce it into the relationship. And you're not going to make a big deal out of it. It's going to be very nuanced, very subtle, very conversational. And just watch the reaction. If you get a little pushback, stop. Try it again later. And again, be very subtle. Now, here's the challenge. And that is that you can't become a power couple until both of you are willing to do this. So what do you do if you're in a relationship and you know how to affect label and you're really good at it, and your partner really doesn't know what you're doing, and may not be, at least in the beginning, interested in affect labeling, and you have a need to be listened to yourself at this deep level? Well, there are a couple of things you can do. One, after you've done it for a while and you've really you feel good about it and you're comfortable with it, you can say, have you noticed anything different in the way that I've been listening to you? And they'll say, well, yeah, I mean, somehow I feel like you're hearing me a lot deeper. I said, would you like to know what I'm doing? And so you can invite the conversation that way. Another way, if you don't want to, if you don't want to do that, another way that couples have done this is to get my book, De-Escalate, my fourth book, and just say, hey, I just read this book. I think it's really interesting. Would you like to read it? And you can get the audiobook too. Alea narrated the audiobook, the Audible book on audible.com. And you can introduce it that way. Or third way, of course, is to get one of our courses and develop it that way. I've had couples take the courses together, which can be very effective. But whatever you do, be gentle, because you are now going to create much deeper layers of intimacy that your partner may not be ready for yet. They'll get there, but you just can't dive into the deep end of the pool on the first day and expect it to be effective. You've got to be careful.